Hi everyone, Sarah Carter, Executive Team Leader with Usborne Books and More, and I'm excited to share with you our Spring 2019 nonfiction, starting with books for toddlers up through preschool and kindergartens, the Big Book of ABC. And this is such a great alphabet book because it teaches them things like alliteration and amazing aardvark, Aunt Anna's asparagus. Anchor starts with A, anteater, ambulance, so many different things. And again, bright and colorful. You could easily play I Spy with this and teach them about all different things that start with the letters and not just animals or the typical things, objects that we think of when we think of the alphabet. The next one I'll show you is Dogs in Space. This is the true story of Belka and Strelka, two stray dogs who were drafted for the Russian cosmonaut program. So it talks a lot about how they were selected and about what their travels were like. If you have an animal lover, this is a must-have. Speaking of animal lovers, if you love wild krats, or your kids do, The Alphabet of Peculiar Creatures is the book for you. This one goes through the alphabet with animals, but not your typical animals. A is for axolotl, and look at this, there's a helpful pronunciation guide along the bottom. Then it will tell your child different facts about that particular creature. So it's really fun if your child is used to C for cat, D for dog. This is going to rock their world. Use some excellent pre-reading strategies by having them predict what the next creature might be before you read it. And you can even try that after they already know what the animals are for further reinforcement. The next one I'll show you is in our Usborne Young Beginners series. This is the predecessor to our popular Beginners series. It is, again, nonfiction. Beautiful pictures on the pages, easy manageable text. I would recommend this one for ages 3 and up. Next one I'll show you is we have a 20th book now in our popular Shine a Light series. This is At the Library. I love this book because it answers all the questions that kids have, like where do the books go when I drop them through the slot, right? And like with the other books, you shine a light through the back of the page and it illuminates the hidden picture. See if you can see that. And then when you turn the page, it tells you a little bit more about it. In this case, it talks about fiction versus nonfiction, also refers to the Dewey Decimal System. This is a must-have for any family. We now have a sequel to Here and There, Now and Then, which goes around the world and talks about different time periods, what transportation was like back a couple thousand years ago, what it's like now. Again, in different parts of the world, so it gives your child a broader view, not only of the world, but of how things have changed over time. We happen to be studying ancient history this year, so I like that it compares how people dressed during the Byzantine Empire to how they dress today, how we communicate, how we take pictures, and lots more. This is a great book to have on your shelf. Along those lines, we now have History of the World in 100 pictures. We also have History of Science in 100 pictures, if you're interested in that. There's a timeline that goes across the top of the page. It highlights different eras in history and lots of artifacts. So you'll see here, there it talks about the city of Ur, and it talks about how this would have been a royal helmet from Ur. This is fascinating. It really makes history come alive for kids. The next one I'll show you is See Inside Bridges, Towers, and Tunnels. This one is a Lift the Flap. And I learned a lot about tension and compression and what keeps bridges up. I also had a great conversation with my son on this page about the Tower Bridge because I happen to have lived in London. So the thing I love about books is they can open up those conversations that you might not otherwise have thought to have with your children. If you've been to the Golden Gate Bridge, take out pictures, tell them about what it's like, go on a field trip. But it offers so many great opportunities to really bond with your children. And again, lots of great flaps for them to lift. We also have Lift the Flap Engineering. So if you have a child that likes to know how everything works, this book is perfect. It talks about everything from aerospace engineering to computer science to simple machines. And again, there are lots of great flaps for them to lift to be able to look inside and see how things work. The final one I'd like to tell you about is this one, 100 Things to Know About Numbers, Computers, and Coding. We also have 100 Things to Know About History, 100 Things to Know About Science, 100 Things to Know About the Human Body. These are fantastic books, particularly for older kids, age 10 and up, to read on their own, or you can read them a page at a time to younger kids as well. Lots of neat facts about all kinds of different things. I'll give you just a quick idea of what that looks like. All right. And that's it for now. Thank you for joining me.